Welcome to another episode of Freediving Tribe. Today with Stefan Randig from Germany, or German freediver. Welcome, Stefan.
Thank you, Daniel.
Nice having you here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So not everyone probably knows Stefan Randig. So maybe you give us a quick introduction or introduce yourself.
So yeah, like you said already, I come from Germany and spent most of my life outside Germany actually. So I grew up in the Seychelles and I moved to Dahab in 2006. So this is actually where I started diving. I started scuba diving there. I was teaching scuba diving and then converted to freediving in Dahab. And left in 2011 to the Philippines, where I co-founded Freedive Panglao, one of the big freediving centers there in Southeast Asia now. And that's where I spent the last 8 years freediving in the Philippines. And the center was growing quite big. And last year, 2020, we decided to, actually shortly before the whole Corona crisis started, we decided to sell the center, so it was perfect timing.
Good timing.
And to move back to Dahab, just to scale it down a little bit again, to have more time to focus on training and to travel a bit more again. I still really enjoy teaching and coaching, but for me, taking care of a big center was just getting a bit too much. So
Okay.
really enjoy the time back in Dahab now.
How old are you?
I'm 36 now.
36.
Yeah.
So we're the same age. 84.
Okay.
Born
I'm
85.
85, so 85. I will be 37.
Yeah.
this year.
Oh, okay. So you moved to the Philippines, and there you had already like the plan creating the school, or was it like, okay, now I just discovered the Philippines and enjoy myself, and then the idea came up to found Freediving Panglao, or?
It really started completely from zero. So we went to Panglao and we really didn't know if it would work or not. The only thing we knew that there were a lot of scuba divers. So there were people interested in diving, but we didn't know so much about the conditions, depth, current, storms and all of that. So it was literally like a little bit a jump into the blue. And so I started working through a scuba center, just test a little bit if it works or not.
Yeah.
And then I think it was after like half a year where the scuba center said, okay, you guys need to move out, because at times we had more freedivers than scuba divers. So it was really exploding on the island. So then we...
How long did it take to get there? 1 year or half a year?
It was within a year.
Wow,
Within a year. And in the beginning, it was a lot of beginner courses, a lot of walk-ins, like I said, like scuba divers who want to try something new.
Yeah.
And then when people heard that, okay, Panglao, it's deep, you have good conditions, it's easy to get there, then this is when we started getting also deeper divers. So that was maybe after like 2-3 years. And then that's what I really enjoyed, that we got this mix of different levels, freedivers, and now at the end, the last years, we even got like world record holders training with us, so it's really nice.
I think Alenka was also there for a long time, huh?
Yeah.
With Florian, due to the pandemic,
Yeah.
I think also.
She actually got stuck with us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I never had the chance to go there, but if I'm correctly informed, you take the boats outside and go somewhere like a 15-minute drive or something, and then you drop the lines and there you dive and drift. Is it
Exactly.
correct?
So you have some spots around the island where you can dive from shore. Distance-wise, it's very similar to here, where you swim out maybe 100 meters and you get 100 meter plus already. But then the thing in the Philippines, I think in general Southeast Asia, is that you usually have a little bit of current. So the way we would dive is to go out by boat, just straight out into the blue. It's getting very deep very quickly, so you have 200-300 meters underneath you, and then drift, let the buoy drift freely, or even when we were diving with counterweight, we would have a floating in-water counterweight that we would let drift, and the boat would basically follow. That worked very well.
Okay.
And it's not, it sounds like you're drifting and you end up really far away, but it was never really strong, violent currents. You would move a little bit during the session, but not too much.
Okay. I know many people already been to your place, mostly from Europe, but I think it became really one of the biggest centers in Asia, also for Asian customers.
Yeah, like freediving, I think within the last 5-6 years really exploded in China, South Korea, Japan already a little bit longer than that, but especially like the Chinese community is so huge now, and automatically, because there are so many freedivers, there are some of them who are really talented. So in my opinion, I think within a few years you will see some top divers in the world come from China or from Asia in general.
I'm pretty sure as well.
They are very serious about training, and they have a little bit a different approach to training. So yeah, it was really nice to see like this development in Asia and to be a little bit part of it.
I got some infos about 1 or 2 years ago. There are schools in towns I never heard of, but there are already like 10 million people living in that town, and they have like nearly 1,000 instructors in that town, just instructors. So we're not talking about students, and that's incredible. It's a size we can't think of in Europe or around somewhere else. Okay. So that was also the reason probably that you had more or less competitions every month. Huh? There have been so many competitions, like we saw, like there's another competition.
Yeah, there was, like 3 years ago you would not have so many options to compete in Asia. So like most of the competitions would happen here in Egypt, Mediterranean, Caribbean. So, but there was a very big demand for it. So we started organizing these comps, and they were always like super popular. They would book, they were fully booked within seconds. So usually from May to
like concerts.
Yes.
Atsushi told me, no, I have to make sure I get to the competition.
It was actually always was funny. We had this one competition called the Asian Freediving Cup, and we would make sure that we open registration sharp 8 p.m. And then it would be the people with the fastest internet connections that will get a spot, which are people in Singapore or in Japan, and then people in the Philippines. They would be there clicking, and they would end up somewhere on the waiting list. So it was difficult for us to kind of create a system that makes it fair for everyone.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, competitions were happening almost like every month from May to September, October, the diving season.
Yeah. And you also had a pool there, right?
We had a pool in the center, 25-meter pool. Yeah.
Okay. So you gave up all of that just to come here again, back to Egypt, to Dahab.
Roots, yeah.
And where it all starts.
Exactly.
And now you're just more or less flowing for yourself? Or?
Exactly. It's a very strange feeling now, because for the last 8 years working with a team, we were 12 instructors working together. So obviously everyone's welcome. We would have some days where we would have like 30, 40, even 50 divers going out for training and courses, and you can basically accept every request. And now I'm here working alone, and it's really different, because I have to check my calendar, because I can do only one thing at a time. But I like it. It's less stressful. I have more time with the family as well, which is nice, and I can arrange my year to say, okay, I take a month for training and to travel somewhere to compete, and then I work. It's nice. I like it. I'm much more flexible now.
Okay. And you set yourself some goals for, if you're saying you're training, so you set yourself some goals for this year, or is it just training for yourself and just enjoying being in the water and being for yourself, or is there also a target? You don't have to say like this is the target.
Of course, I have targets.
Okay.
You always have numbers in
Not
your head.
everyone. I mean, you know by yourself, there are many in the hub as well who say like, oh, I just enjoy.
Just enjoy. No, I think I'm a little bit driven. Like I definitely am competitive and I have goals in mind. At the moment, it's really interesting for me because what was really holding me back in training the last years was always just finding time to train. So there's nothing really physical where I would say like, okay, I'm really limited now. It was always like, okay, training goes well and then back to work. So I really want to see what is possible if I dedicate myself a little bit better to training. So yeah, we'll see for this year. The main goal is to do the 4 competitions here in Charm, this World Cup that Andrea is organizing. Which
I will put the link in the description, so if you want to sign up, you can.
Yeah, I think it's I did one competition here last year and it was like amazing setup, really nice people, great vibes. So I'm really looking forward to this circuit and I think it's a nice idea.
It is indeed, yeah.
After last year, 2020, you know, a lot of freedivers are very hungry to compete and so I think...
But still, we are still in the middle of the pandemic, so right now Egypt is still open for many countries to fly in. We hope...
but you never know.
No, you never know, and it's like last year. Some people trained for their competition and then last minute it was like quarantine if you want to go there or just no flights anymore. It's a little gamble, but yeah, as you said, the people are hungry, so they are willing to. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's the main thing for this year. To do these 4 comps, some smaller ones in Dahab as well. What I really like in Dahab is that it's for me it's one of my favorite spots to dive in no fins, because I love no fins diving. And coming from the Philippines, in the Philippines, even you look down, you see the rope is straight, you always have a little bit of movement in the water, and in no fins you really feel it.
Yeah.
When I did the first sessions back in the Blue Hole, it was amazing. Like dive is so much faster, and because there's absolutely no water movement, you know, so it's the perfect place to train. And then for everything deeper, Charm, the amazing
for obvious
setup.
reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. By side competition or freediving, competitive freediving, is there anything else what drives you, motivates you in terms of being in the water? Is it just like getting mentally and physically ready to be ready for competitions, or is it also something else which drives you?
Competition, apart from competition, I really enjoy the process very much, process of training, and to see
the results, like
the
working
results.
for something out and see if it really worked out or not.
You know, like even over many years, you see that there are still changes happening, physically, mentally. You see that you are moving
You're getting
forward.
older.
Yes. So, like for me, that really gives me a lot of motivation to see that, okay, this year I'm diving a little bit more relaxed, a little bit better technique than last year. Like I'm moving forward, you know, and that I find that very motivating, you know.
Yeah.
That you're still developing.
By side freediving, is there something else you really enjoy? Like, obviously, freediving is your passion, but by side freediving, is there something else? Like, now everybody is climbing in Dahab, so you as well, or? Okay.
It's something I would really like to try. I love hiking. Like now in Dahab, it's something I do a lot on off days or just to get some time dry. Away
I
from
saw
the
some
water.
pictures on the mountains, and
That's something I love very much. Because in Dahab, you have the beautiful mountains, and hiking is something I enjoy. But in terms of like really other sports, not really at the moment, at least.
okay. Many other freedivers doing some sports just to keep their also in shape and so
Cross-train, yeah.
to cross train somehow. So you're doing nothing. It's just water training for you.
No,
or?
I'm going to the gym to supplement a little bit the depth training. Like right now, it's 10 days to the comp. I'm dialing it down, and I will probably stop in the next days. But so the intensity varies a little bit depending on the season. But usually, I do the training in the gym. And then it depends, because now I'm in Dahab, I have the ocean in front of my house, so of course I spend a lot of time in the water. But then if I cannot dive, or if I'm somewhere else, then I would enjoy like dry training as well, or even training in the pool.
Okay. So it's really like competition is your thing to do, and this is what is driving you.
At the moment, yes.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's
All right.
something I like very much, because I like to have like clear set goals in front
Yeah,
of me,
exactly,
and
I understand.
a competition gives me always, you know, you have a fixed date.
Yeah.
and,
There's some pressure.
It's something to work for. It was interesting to see last year, 2020, because there were no competitions. So, but we had a lot of time for training, and now we said, okay, it's a year to just train, you know, just to get better without any competition in mind. And it was a nice experience also, but not the
nothing
same.
happened.
It was not the same, you know.
No results.
No, I did some good dives,
Okay.
but it's much more like, okay, if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, you know, like you don't have the same, yeah, like you say, like maybe a little bit of positive pressure, you know, just to keep you going, and, you know.
I need this kind of pressure, so this is why I signed up last year for what was the competition in Amagos, Authentic Blue,
Blue, yeah.
where I wanted to do a proper free immersion dive, so that was my goal. And I trained, and then I think it was May when they cancelled. I fall down just in a hole, and fuck it, everything for nothing. Like we talked before, everybody was not angry, motivated, hungry for competition, and then off.
Happens, yeah.
No, I also need this kind of little pressure, like when you know you have to deliver on this specific date, and there is like no excuse not to train, or I don't know, watching 2 days Netflix or something. So you need to keep up your work.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, all right. Then, so we talked about the competition. We talked about what type of diver you are in terms of is a dive mentally challenging you, or is it just physically challenging you? So some divers are just say like, I don't care, if I'm fit, I can go. Others say like, this time it didn't work, I didn't feel relaxed, and how would you describe? I mean, you've been the first German who did a 100-meter constant weight dive with a white card.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, you told me, was the first one who tried it.
To descend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what type of freediver you are? How would you describe yourself?
I would say I never had so much issues physically in freediving. Of course, you have certain things you work on, but right now I would say probably if something holds me back, it's more the mind. Yeah, I would say so. So I have to, you know how your mind is often looking for excuses not to do that right now. So I have to focus a lot on staying positive when I go for training, especially leading up to a comp, like now, these days, before a competition. For me, it's very important to stay positive and to not take everything too serious. And so, yeah. So, but also, I feel it's getting better over the years. In the past, I was really like, okay, I have to do this now, I have to do this dive, and if it's not a white card, I'm going to be really disappointed, and that I feel with every season that is getting less. Like right now, if a dive doesn't feel great, I'm going to stop and turn back, and it doesn't bother me too much. And I think it has also changed a little bit since I have my daughter. She's 7 years old now, and that has changed a little bit my approach to diving, where I was always a very careful diver, but now even more, you know, when you have a family and, you know, there's more important things in life, and for me it's important that the dive feels good, and if it doesn't, then it's okay.
It's over 14 years you have diving experience, freediving experience, right?
Started in 2006, so 14, 15,
Yeah, impressive. You can call yourself one of the old ones, huh?
Yeah, but it's been a really, really slow progress. but it's been progress, and that's what I mentioned is what I like. Even if it's just 1 meter per year, you know, I'm still happy because I'm still progressing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's slowly come to an end. One of the questions I ask everyone, like, name your top 3 freediving destinations. Like, freediving, not destinations, places. Like, it can even be a reef, can be one of the deep pools, can be everything. You can go by order, or you can just say, like, yeah, these 3 are the ones I enjoy the most.
Okay. It's not easy. I would say the Maldives, definitely. I used to work in the Maldives for 2 years, and for me that was the most amazing diving when it comes to diving with
Big animals?
with animals, with big fishes, with manta rays, whale sharks, sharks. That was, I think, like, you know, fun diving, free diving on a reef. For me, there was no better
recreational
place.
diving.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Maldives, then the blue holes. So the blue hole in Dahab, Dean's blue hole as well. Just the I really like the feeling of diving in a kind of
Bucket?
bucket, like having walls around you. It's really, you know, you have your eyes closed and you don't see anything, but then just this feeling of being surrounded by reef. It's really, like, for me, it's very different than diving in an open ocean. So I really like that. I really enjoyed the Bahamas and now the blue hole here in Dahab. Yeah, so for depth training, I really like that.
Yep.
And I would have to add one more, which is Panglao. There is one spot on the island. It's a reef that is really, it's a drop off really close to shore, and you have a huge school of sardines.
Where the sardine runs happens.
Exactly. So it's you have millions of sardines, and it's like a cloud, and you can dive into it. It's just amazing for fun diving. Also, like, really nice place.
Okay. And the last question would be, tell us what is like your most memorable, your best experience in freediving. It can be competition-wise, it can be recreational, whatever. Like the thing, it can be like Gus, for example, said like it was the first time he went to the Bahamas for the competition. It can be everything, yeah, just related to freediving. It can be even like founding your Panglao freediving, so it doesn't matter. What is for you number 1?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot because it's something you ask yourself also now, like, what was the best dive I ever did? And it's really hard to say, but I don't want to attach it too much to a number, but I would have to say it was the first 100 I did, I think, because it's a dive that you think about for years and years, and then you're there and you do it, and you touch down at the bottom, and you know, like, okay, that's it, now I did it, you know. And then you think about it, how it will be when you come back to the surface. Are you gonna get emotional, and then you come up and it's okay. It's just another dive, you know. It's not that big of a deal actually. It doesn't feel different than all the hundreds of dives you did before that. But still, like, I think
now it's 3 digits.
then it's 3 digits, you know. And then I think that was a very special one to do that the first time.
Where have you done it?
It was in Panglao actually, and it was I will never forget that day. It was an amazing day, like mirror flat sea, and a really good team of divers around me, and everything was just perfect. You know,
Yep.
It's the day to do it. You know.
All right.
Then it's almost like, because you think about it for so long, and it's almost like unlocking it. You know, like for me, it's like I imagine it like a video game. Like you do a certain dive for the first time, and after that.
Yeah, you unlock an item.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And after that, it's easier to repeat it. And I always also felt the same with diving with other people together. If you see someone do something in front of you, I find it much easier to repeat that myself, because I see it in front of me and I know that, okay, this is how it looks and it's possible. You know, so I always found it very important to be surrounded by good divers that are better than me, and just to see like great dives being done. I think it's very important.
But the 100, even if I haven't done it in constant weight,
You've been a lot deeper on the sled.
Okay, but anyway, I totally understand. It's like a magical number is not the right word, but you know exactly what I
Yes,
mean. Like
yeah.
it's a barrier you overcome, and yeah, after that there is kind of a relief.
Yes.
Like it's okay. It was just 100, and the next one is another 100, and
Yeah,
it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
But doing it the first time is like a real big moment, and yeah, feelings popping up inside, and yeah. All right,
Yes.
good. Yeah, thanks for the interview.
Thank you so much.
I will link Stefan's Instagram account in the description below. Yeah, don't forget to follow. What else? Yeah, more or less that's it. Thank you very much.
You should follow Daniel also on his account on YouTube and like the video.
Thanks,
Yeah.
and see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.